Welcome to the Mint Hill Country Doctors Museum. The museum depicts a typical medical practice in a small rural community during the late 1800s and early 20th century. It was a time when the country doctor made house calls, riding his horse and buggy in all kinds of weather, traveling down dirt roads to isolated farms to set a limb, deliver babies, and treat the sick. He was often paid for his services in eggs, vegetables, and chickens from the farms of his patients. Two doctors practiced medicine in this wood-framed three-room office building. Dr. John McCamey DeArmond arrived during a typhoid epidemic in 1886. He served the residents of Clear Creek until 1907, when he moved his practice to Charlotte. Following Dr. DeArmond was Dr. Ayer Manny Whitley, who cared for Mint Hill's growing community from 1908 until 1948. A newspaper article written after his death reported that during his 40-year career he had delivered 6,784 babies. The Mint Hill Country Doctors Museum was initially located on Fairview Road, Highway 218, Mint Hill's first commercial and business center. Local merchant and businessman Eli Henderson constructed the original two-room office for Dr. DeArmond sometime around 1890. The building's front section served as an apothecary, or pharmacy as it is known today. Dr. DeArmond saw patients in the back room. It is believed that sometime in the 1920s or 30s, Dr. Whitley removed the front room and moved it to the rear of his property to use as a tenant house. Following the death of Dr. Whitley in 1951, the doctor's office sat vacant and unused for more than 30 years. It was in danger of being demolished when the Mint Hill Historical Society was chartered with the purpose of preserving the history of Mint Hill. It was donated by the family of Ayer Crouch Whitley Jr., a grandson of Dr. Whitley, in 1986. In 1987, the building was moved here to land donated by the McEwen family. The Historical Society began an intensive restoration, saving significant portions of the structure including the back office, hardwood floors, and the original wall boards. Grandson of Dr. Whitley, Robert Whitley, donated the original office shingle that hangs at the front door. To the right of the door, you can see the Hornet's Nest emblem, a distinct designation by the Historical Landmarks Commission of Mecklenburg County. In May of 1994, the Mint Hill Country Doctors Museum was opened to the public. The Doctors Museum houses over 3,000 artifacts which tell the fascinating story of how medicine was practiced in a small rural community before the development and widespread use of antibiotics, immunizations, and inoculations. Among the objects on display are a set of show globes, one filled with red liquid and one filled with green liquid, believed by many to be a warning system. A red show globe placed in the window would alert stagecoaches and visitors of the presence of a disease in town. A green globe meant all is well. A red globe encouraged travelers to pass through the tunnel without disembarking, thus stopping the spread of disease from town to town. On display in the museum are personal items of Dr. DeArmond and Dr. Whitley used during their tenure as Mint Hill's doctors, as well as objects which show the advancement of medicine during their careers. Please come back and make an appointment to explore the Doctors Museum and the life of a country doctor.